All right, we should be live now. Live again for the second time today. You're seeing me here to break down the 5-game late slate for DraftKings. All right, we got about 30 minutes to lock. Real quick, I just want to tilt really quick with the early slate. So I could have won some huge money today with Ben Simmons, Chris Paul, Dinwiddie was really solid, but we have Jonas Valanciunas, who he's been averaging about 30 minutes the last 4 games, and he's on pace for 15 minutes. I don't think he's going to go back in. So I am super, super tilted about that. Also, the Jackson Hayes situation, him start, with no favors in Okafor, there was no chance I was fading him. He was clearly the best play of the day, but Nikola Melli decides to have the best shooting night of his life, and they start him over Hayes. I mean, Hayes can still get there in this fourth quarter, but man, with Hayes and JV in my lineup, if I didn't have those two, I could have won some serious money in the early slate. But okay, I just wanted to get that quick tilt out of the way for that slate. But let's talk about this 5-game slate tonight. So let's go over what we know so far. Anthony Davis will play. He's going to be on a 28 minutes restriction, though, so I can't pay over 10K for AD when he's on a minutes limit. And then we have Jaylen Brown and Kemba available to play. That takes me off those other Boston guys. That Boston-LA game is basically a full fade for me now. With everyone healthy, nothing stands out to me in a really ugly game there. Let's see. Bear with me here as I scroll through a lot. Oh, Kelly Oubre looks like he's going to be good to go, but a lot of this stuff is from the early slate. Let's see. We have the Nuggets, those three ruled out once again with Harris, with Murray, with Paul Millsap. I still really like Nikola Jokic today as a spend up. Rudy Gay, once again, ruled out as well. That's somewhat big because a guy like Lonnie Walker, Marco Bellinelli, those guys' punt plays probably get close to 20 minutes. Let's see. I gotta scroll through a lot of this. A lot of this stuff is for the early slate. Let's see. Paul George ruled out for Tuesday. We only have one game tomorrow. That's kind of annoying that there's only one game. Yeah. Again, Melli starting the second half for Jackson Hayes. He's just shooting the ball unreal. Derek Jones Jr., of course, to the locker room, questionable to return. Okay, whatever. I'm just going to forget about that early slate. Again, could have made some huge money with Ben Simmons, with Chris Paul, with Dinwiddie, but some letdowns there for sure. So numbers-wise, we have Lakers Celtics right now sitting at 226, with the Lakers favored by 3.5. We have the Nuggets and the Timberwolves sitting at 221.5. Minnesota favored by 3.5. We have the Pacers Jazz sitting at 215. The Jazz favored by 8. We have the Spurs Suns at 229.5. The Suns favored by 4.5. And we have the Warriors Trailblazers sitting at 221, with Portland favored by 6.5 points. So let's start with the early game, Boston, LA. And honestly, I like nothing in this game. With everyone healthy, LeBron James is priced up too much with Anthony Davis now back. You can't play Anthony Davis with him being on a 28 minutes limit. Really bad spot for the Lakers, really bad spot for the Celtics. I have no interest in Kuzma, no interest in Dwight, no interest in JaVale McGee, no interest in these secondary pieces with Rondo back too. I mean, you could look to Rondo, actually. I think he would be my favorite play, surprisingly, on the Lakers. A revenge game spot, 3.8K. I don't know, 20, 25 minutes from him. He can definitely get you there, but that's really it. Other than Rondo, I have zero interest in this Lakers team. On the Celtics side, basically the same thing. Kemba and Brown were questionable earlier. If they were both out, I was going to load up Tatum, Smart, and Hayward once again like I did the other night there against Phoenix. But with everyone healthy in a really bad spot, I know the prices are down a bit, but nothing stands out. I think one of these Boston guys probably has a solid game. Your guess is as good as mine who's going to be with everyone healthy. Really bad spot, too, against the Lakers. Basically no interest there. Tice is priced up. I'll pass. I guess the one guy I would consider here in Boston is Enes Kanter at 4K, just because he is a guy that, maybe Tice gets in foul trouble. He can, possibly get extended to over 20 minutes. If that's the case, we've seen big upside games from Kanter. So, Yeah, really the only interest I have in this early game is Enes Kanter on the Boston side and Rondo on the Lakers side, and that's only for GPPs. Other than that, it's a full fade for me. Don't think we have to go there. But yeah, let's talk about Denver and Minnesota. So once again, we have Jamal Murray out, we have Gary Harris ruled out, and we have Paul Millsap ruled out. So I like Jokic a good amount here at 9.4K in this matchup against Cat. I know, trust me, I know he's frustrating. He can still, like, I would not be totally shocked if he busts somehow. We just see it, but we see it with Jokic a lot this year. But with all three of those guys out, there's just not a whole lot of offense in that lineup, right? Like, Barton still can shoot the ball a ton, but we've seen it the last couple games with those guys out. 20 shots from Jokic, 16 shots from Jokic. Like, when he's aggressive, he has huge upside. When he's, like, trying to do a lot of the offensive end, and they don't have a whole lot of options here. And again, this matchup against Minnesota against Karl-Anthony Towns is a really good one. There is some foul trouble risk, right? Jokic is a guy that gets in foul trouble a decent amount. So there definitely is that concern. But at this price, I really like him as a spend up. Also, again, Will Barton's going to do a lot more offensively. He's playing huge minutes, 43, 36 minutes. I think we get over 35 for sure in a close game. So I'm perfectly fine if we get to Barton as well. Now, I probably prefer Jokic for an extra $1,500 compared to Barton. But again, if you want to play both, I have no issue with that. As far as everyone else, there's not a whole lot that I like here. Like, Michael Porter Jr. is priced up way too much. 6.5K for a guy that maybe gets 25 minutes. Like, he's going to have to shoot the ball really, really well to get you there. Beasley, priced at 5.5K for a guy that played 14 minutes, right? Like, Mike Malone is just the woat. I will always just keep saying that. 39, he plays 7, 39, and 14 minutes. Like, 5.5K, there's no way. Plumlee at 5.2K. I mean, maybe if he gets over 20 minutes, but 5.2 kind of feels like a lot for Plumlee. Monte Morris has not been getting enough minutes, right? 4.7, he's viable, but he hasn't been great in that starting lineup. Jeremy Grant at 4.4, I actually think is okay, but still doesn't have huge upside. Like, I'm okay with him as a value play. I don't know if he has like massive upside. Torrey Craig, like, I'm not paying 3.9K for Torrey Craig. PJ Dozier at 3.1. I mean, maybe if he gets like close to 20 minutes, but what have we seen in the last three games? 13, 7, 17. Kind of hard to trust. So there's not a whole lot I like out of Denver besides those two guys at the top. I think I prefer Jokic to Barton. And I like Jokic a good amount there at 9.4K. If we talk about Minnesota, honestly, not a whole lot I like here. Karl-Anthony Towns at 9.9. He's been limited the first couple games back, 28 and 27 minutes. Don't see myself paying 10K or 9.9K for Cat when I can get Jokic for $500 less. Just makes absolutely no sense to me, at least. Wiggins at 6.6. Sure, he did have a good game the last game against Toronto. I'm okay with it. I don't really think he stands as a great play. I would not expect a triple-double again from Wiggins, especially with Cat in the lineup. That's definitely more of an outlier game in my opinion. But like I said, he's fine if you land on him. I'm not going to go out of my way to play him. Covington at 6K. Another one of those players that's just okay, right? If it's the last piece to your lineup, that's fine. Culver 5.4. I mean, he has had some upside games, right? 30 and 40 in 2 of the last 4 games. I'm okay with it. It's just Denver. They played a really slow pace, a pretty solid defense. Like Napier 5.1. Probably gets 25 or so minutes, but I don't know if I want to pay 5.1K for him. Gorgie Jang, not with Cat back. Like, these other guys will get dusted off for like 15 to 20 minutes, like a Koji, Bates Diop, McLaughlin. Like, if you want to take a dart throw at McLaughlin, I don't think that's the worst idea, right? He probably gets about 20 minutes. He's been a decent point per minute guy, so I guess I don't hate that. But there really isn't anything that, like, oh, I need to play someone in Minnesota. Like, with Cat being back, that definitely takes a big hit to everyone's usage. So that's kind of it for Minnesota. Not a whole lot I like here. Let's talk about the Pacers and the Jazz, another game where I'm not super excited. It's those late 2 games that I want a lot of pieces to. On the Pacers side, I'm fine if you get to Sabonis at 7.9. I think he's a safe option, but I think he's just more contrarian, right, against the Jazz. Not really the best spot. Brogdon, kind of the same thing. Like, I don't know if I want to pay 7.2K for Brogdon against the Jazz. I'm not going to TJ Warren at that price, or Miles Turner, or Jeremy Lamb. It's kind of Sabonis and that's it. And I don't think I'm going to place a bonus either on the slate. Like I just like a lot of other guys in these late games with their upside. As far as the Jazz go, I think Rudy Gobert is definitely viable at 8.1. He's had upside games, 47, 56, 47, 57 fantasy points. 8.1K right now for his level of production. He seems a little bit underpriced. So I'm perfectly fine if you get to Gobert. Don't know if I'm going to get to Donovan Mitchell. I think he's okay, but probably not for me. I think my favorite play here would be Joe Ingles at 5.3. Just stands out as a pretty safe option in my opinion. We'd probably get 30 to 35 on the high end for him. And he's just a guy that gets those peripheral stats. When he has a good shooting night, he can get like 30, 40 fantasy points. So I think Ingles and Gobert are really my main interest here on the Jazz. The Jazz. Like Clarkson with Conley back, I'll pass. Conley's not playing enough minutes for me to consider him right now. That basically wraps it up for the Jazz. So these first three games, besides like Jokic, there's not a whole lot I'm really excited about. But now let's talk about the great games here with the Spurs, Suns, and then the Warriors, Trailblazers, late night hammer. So this game, Spurs, Suns, sitting at 229.5 with a 4.5 point spread, the highest of the night. I think these San Antonio guys do stand out as pretty good plays. DeRozan at 8.2. He's been playing huge minutes. 35, 35, 38, and 38 minutes. And look what he's been doing, right? 44, 49, 51, 45, a 62 fantasy point game in there. Like, he's been really consistent. And this is one of the better spots against Phoenix, who played a much faster pace. So you've got to have interest there in DeRozan. I also like Aldridge a good amount at 6.8K. Just for the fact that he's going to be matched up a decent amount of times against DeAndre Ayton. Now, DeAndre Ayton, pretty solid on the offensive end. One of the worst defenders in the NBA, which is really good for Aldridge, who, if he stays out of foul trouble, probably gets about 35 minutes. So I like DeRozan. I like Aldridge both a good amount there on the Spurs side. Also, I think DeJounte Murray is certainly in play here for GPPs. Now, he's been very up and down, but the upside is still there with him, right? We saw what he did against Atlanta, over 40 fantasy points. Like, he can still have, on a good night, get you 40 fantasy points, but he's very, very up and down. The minutes are a little bit up and down, too, right? 21, 26, 33, 22. So don't know if I can project him or confidently play him for cash games, but I think he's certainly someone you can consider for GPPs because we know the upside is there on him. Trey Lyles at 4.4. I don't think I can pay 4.4 for Lyles. Now, we still have Rudy Gay out. So I think that makes Lonnie Walker and Marco Bellinelli viable punt plays. Like, if you're going completely stars and scrubs, I think these guys are in play. Like, Lonnie Walker probably gets 15 to 20 minutes. He can get you, over 20 fantasy points on a good night. So I think he's a viable punt option. Also, Bellinelli, a viable punt option too. Kind of been getting the same amount of run as Lonnie Walker. Like, those are guys you can take shots on for sure. As far as like Patty Mills and Derek White, I actually think are okay too. Both these guys probably get, low to mid 20s in minutes, and both have flash upside here. So I think both those guys are in play as well. Jakob Poeltl, 3.7. Don't know if I would go there. But like I said, there is like some of these cheap guys. You can take shots in some of these cheap Spurs. Now, again, definitely Aldridge and DeRozan at the top are my favorite plays. But you can take a shot on Derek White. You can take a shot on Patty Mills or Marco Bellinelli or Lonnie Walker. I don't hate the idea of going there. But yeah, that basically wraps up for the Spurs. So there's a good amount to like there in a very up-tempo game here against the Suns. As far as the Suns side, so Kelly Oubre expected back. That definitely takes a hit to everyone else in the offense as far as usage goes. Like Kelly Oubre, on good nights, he can put up like big numbers. So he is a guy that will take a lot of shots. Again, that definitely takes a slight hit to Booker, to Ayton, to Rubio. That takes Bridges and Saric out of play for me. Don't think I want to go there. But I still think like Booker and Ayton are viable. They're just not as good of plays with Oubre. And like Booker still has upside for sure at 8.6K. Like I'm still considering him. I'm still considering Ayton, who's been amazing the last couple of games. A good matchup again against the Spurs. It's just with Oubre back, that just takes a slight hit to everyone's usage. Like Rubio at 8K. Don't know if I'd pay 8K for Rubio. He's been a little bit up and down. And then, yeah, like I said, with Oubre back, that kind of takes Bridges and Saric out of play for me. Like I still think they'll get some decent run, but not as much as it has been, and they're priced up. So that's basically it for the Suns. again, with Oubre coming back, that definitely takes a hit to everyone's usage. I think Oubre is still solid. I think Ayton's solid. I think Booker is solid. Like, you can still play those guys for sure. If you're going more of a game stack, right? If you're playing like Aldridge and DeRozan, you can 100% run it back with like one of those Suns guys. I have no issue with that. But now we get to my favorite game of the night here, Golden State and Portland. Yeah, so on the Golden State side, really like D'Angelo Russell at 7.6K. I will not be getting away from him. 35, 34, 36, 35 Mets. We're probably going to get about 35 in a close game. This match against Portland, a very good one. Portland really shorthanded too, so I really like D'Angelo Russell at this price at 7.6K. One of my favorite plays. As far as the secondary pieces here, like Damian Lee, Green, Burks, Pascal, those are guys you can take shots on. I don't think anyone really stands out. Like, I think one of those guys will probably have a decent game. But I think my next favorite play here would be Willie Cauley-Stein at 4.2, who's gotten 33 and 25 minutes last couple games when starting at center. I think he matches up the best out of any of these bigs against Whiteside. So, yeah, I think Willie Cauley-Stein is a viable cheap option for sure. Just thought I'd bring it up. Jordan Poole has been getting some decent run. 27-28, only 12 in the game against Dallas, but then 28 again against Orlando. Like, he's had some decent games. Now, he's kind of scoring dependent, but he's in that pool of like those really cheap guys that you can take a shot on for sure. Like, we have seen good games here from Poole recently. So, I don't hate the idea of taking a shot there. Obviously, you're not going to feel great, but he has flashed some upside there in limited time. But yeah, that's really it for Golden State. So again, really like D'Angelo Russell. I think Willie Cauley-Stein is definitely viable as a cheap play. You can take a shot on a guy like Jordan Poole's and playing well. And then, as far as these secondary pieces like Lee, Green, Burks, Pascal, they're okay. I think one of them probably has a decent game in a good spot here against Portland. But now we talk about Portland. So this is where I'll be loading up here. Right, we have no CJ McCollum. They're very, very short-handed. Ariza's not going to be active, so they should have 9 available players here. So it's going to be Little, Moses Brown, Jalen Hurd, Trent Jr., Hazonia, Simons, Melo, Whiteside, Lillard. Right, that's 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, so 9 available players. Lillard, I will not be fading him with no CJ McCollum in this match against Golden State. There's no way. 8.4K, probably my favorite play. Him or Whiteside. I know Whiteside burned some people, and he got good run, 32 minutes, put up a dud game against OKC. There's no way I'm fading him. I get it. I get it. He's burned some people 2 of the last 4 games, but there's just no chance I'm fading him at 7.5K. So love Lillard, love Whiteside. I think Carmelo is fine as well. At 6.1, just doesn't have as much upside as those 2 guys at the top. But I still think like Melo is in play. He's going to play big minutes, probably mid-30s minutes. And then we get to the cheap place here. So this is where I want to take some shots on some guys. Simons has started, played 35 minutes. Wasn't great, but if he's going to get like minutes into the 30s, he's certainly viable punt play. Even a guy like Mario Hezonja, 3.5, I think we probably get mid-20s minutes from him. He's a viable punt play. I think, Gary Trent Jr., I wouldn't expect him to have 50 fancy points again, but he's another candidate for big minutes as well at 3.2. Even a guy like, Jalen Hurd got some decent run. He got 20 minutes. I wouldn't be as excited about him. I wouldn't be as excited about Nasir Little, who doesn't do a whole lot offensively, or Moses Brown. Like, he's going to play strictly backup 5. So those 3 guys at the bottom, I'm not super excited about, but those cheap options with Gary Trent Jr., with Hazonia and Simons, I think those 3 are certainly in play on the slate. I think those 3 guys will play some decent minutes, and a couple of them will probably have a big game. Again, there's a lot of minutes to go around here for Portland, who's pretty short-handed. So all in all, there is a lot to like here for me on the Portland side. With Lillard, Whiteside at the top, don't mind Melo in the mid-range, and then those cheap options are certainly in play. But let's see. Let me just check news, see if we got any more news on Fantasy Labs. Oh, Aaron Baines ruled out. Okay, that is somewhat significant for... Let me go back to that really quick. So Baines was a guy that was playing, 15 minutes a game? Those minutes have to go somewhere. I think Sarge could be a candidate for more run. Maybe he is viable now at 4.7. I could see with Kaminsky still out. I guess it would be... Where is he? Cheat Diallo at the flat min. I could see him getting dusted off for like 15 minutes. You could take a dart throw on him and hope he gets the backup center run. But yeah, okay. So let's talk about my core plays here. And I am pretty. I'll give it to you. Hold on. Let me load it up really quick. So I'm pretty high on the stars and scrubs approach because there's a lot of guys I like at the top. So these 4 guys, I know I'm going to give you all expensive guys, but I really love the upside in all 4 of these guys. So Jokic, and then let's go to Portland and go Lillard, Whiteside, and then on the opposite side, we'll go D'Angelo Russell. I know that's a lot of expensive guys, but you have 4.2K remaining. You could try to fit in one more mid-tier guy and then go all value guys, but I just love the upside in these 4 guys tonight. So that's the way I'm going to be starting my lineup, and then I'm going to take some shots in those cheap guys, right? Cheap guys have gone over. Like, I think you can take a shot on Rondo. I think you can take a shot on Cantor. I think you can take a shot on, who is there anyone in Denver? Not really on Denver. Here, let me get off this again. I guess like Jeremy Grant's okay, or maybe PJ Dozier, but everyone else is kind of priced up for Denver. On the Minnesota side, right, like if you want to fit in Wiggins, you can probably fit him in, maybe, and then go really cheap. Or, you can take a shot at maybe on a guy like Jordan McLaughlin at 3.1. On the Indiana side, not a whole lot I like here. On the Jazz side, kind of the same thing. Like Ingles, I like a good amount. You could plug Joe Ingles there as a mid-tier guy and then go all value. But yeah, the Spurs guys, like this is where I can see myself taking some shots and some value plays, right? With guys like Derek White, with guys like Patty Mills, Bellinelli, Lonnie Walker. I definitely think 1 or 2 of those guys will probably have a decent game. On the Suns side, maybe Cheek Diallo, right? If he backs up DeAndre Ayton, I could see him being decent. And then the Portland side, right? This is where there's a lot of good value plays, in my opinion, with Simons, with Hazonia, with Trent Jr. So that's the way I'm going about it. Again, I just love the upside in these 4 guys, and I'm going to pair those 4 with some of the value guys, and I'm feeling pretty good about my lineup tonight. So that's it. So let's get some questions here for this late slate. Again, if you guys enjoy this content, would appreciate if you could hit that like button. Okay. Let's see, Lillard, Trent, Ingles, Aldridge, Whiteside, D'Lo, Hayward, and 1 spot left for 5,600 for GPP. 5,600, let's see. You have Ingles, right? Or do you have Ingles? You do have Ingles. Not excited. I mean, maybe take a shot on DeJounte Murray. Like, he has a lot of upside there. So, he's very, very up and down, though. They have to play Sarge. Ayton has hardly had any backups in the front court. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty solid. I'm okay with Sarge for sure. With no Baines, he could get some extra run for sure. Draymond, yeah, I think Draymond's okay as a mid-tier play there for Golden State. My issue with him is his minutes are very, very up and down. Monte Morris, again, I'm okay with Monte Morris as well. He hasn't flashed a lot of upside. Playing with these starters, 24, 26, 29 minutes, 13, 19, 13 fancy points. Like, he's been a lot better coming off the bench. So I'm okay with it. I don't think he stands out as a great play, though. Simons or Trent Jr.? That's a close one. I don't know. Like, I think you go with whoever you feel more comfortable with. Gary Trent Jr., I think, is going to be higher owned because he had that massive game, that last game, right? He had almost 50 fantasy points. But, yeah, that's really, like, I don't feel... I think, go with your gut there. How do you feel about Jeremy Lamb? I'm not really super high about Jeremy Lamb. Where is he at? I mean, he's somewhat cheap. He's 4,700, right? Like, he put up 4 fancy points in the game against Denver. I don't see myself going there at 4.7K in that match against the Jazz. Like, why would I pay 4.7K for Jeremy Lamb when I can get Joe Ingles for $600 more? It just doesn't make sense to me. 3,300 forward slot. So it's probably Lonnie Walker for me. Let's see. Yeah, it's either Lonnie Walker or Bellinelli. Again, both probably get close to 20 minutes with no Rudy Gay. I'm fine with either. I think I like the upside a little bit more with Lonnie Walker, who we've seen like kind of have bigger games in limited time. So I would go Lonnie Walker there for 3,300. Can you play Trent Jr. Hazonia? Yeah, you certainly can. Again, Portland's really, really thin. And someone's going to have to score the ball besides Lillard, Whiteside, and Melo, right? So guys like Trent Jr., guys like Hazonia, guys like Anthony Simons, they're going to have to score the ball. So, yeah, I think you can play both Trent Jr. and Hazonia together. Would you gamble on Tatum at 6.9? I'm just not really excited about this game. Or is he 6.9K? They did do a good job of pricing down the Boston guys. If you feel good about Tatum, you can go there again, but it's just not gonna be the way that I go. Like, I really like this core. I just love the upside there, but I get it. Like, if you really like Jason Tatum, you can go there. It's just not gonna be the way that I go for this slate. Wiggins for GPPs. Yeah, I mean you can realistically make an argument for him at 6.6. He had a huge game that last game, triple double. More of an outlier in my opinion. Other than that, he hasn't been great. It's not really the best spot against Denver, but at 6.6 he can have upside, so I think he's okay for GPPs. Lillard, Russell, Hazonia, Ayton, Whiteside, Murray, Grant, and 5K left for utility. Do I play Tice? I don't know if I pay 5K for Tice though. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, so Tice is at 5K. He has been good, but I don't know if I would go there. Glenn Robinson, he'll be a game time decision. Like, I think I would prefer Glenn Robinson if he plays. But other than that, you really don't have a whole lot of options. So you can go Saric here at 4.7. I'm just trying to think what Phoenix is going to do with those minutes. Like, Kelly Oubre is going to play huge minutes. We know Oubre, Booker, Ayton, and Rubio are going to play big minutes. But that last spot, they're going to shift between Bridges, with Saric, maybe with Cheek Diallo. So, maybe take Saric and hopefully he gets the minutes. But yeah, there's not a whole lot I'm excited about in that price range for sure. Let's see, Trent or Simons. Trent Simons or Rondo. Again, I don't think I prefer Trent versus Simons. I think you're going to want some exposure to Trent, Simons, and Hazonia. I think one or two or maybe all three get you there. They're very, very cheap, and again, Portland's really short-handed, so I don't feel confident in saying one over the other there. Yeah, Trent, Simons, or Rondo. I think Rondo will probably be the lowest owned of the three, but revenge spot, he should be back. I think we probably get 20 or so minutes, maybe a little bit more if he's playing well. So let's see. Lillard, Russell, Ingles, Aldridge, Whiteside, Trent, Hayward, DeJounte. Yep, I like that a lot. Royce O'Neal just signed new contract. What's his price? I mean, I don't know. This game, the Pacers-Jazz game, I'm just not very excited about. 3.6. Yeah, I mean, he'll play good minutes. I think he's fine for value, for sure. I think he is in play. He's just not a guy, look, 4 shots, 5 shots, 4 shots, 1 shot. So not a super high upside guy, but he probably gets you 15 to 20 fancy points. If I'm shooting for upside, I think I like those Portland guys more, right? With Trent Jr., Simons, Hazonia. Now, they might be, I guess, a little bit more risky because who knows who's going to get the big run, but I think I just like the upside more with those cheap Portland guys. Got to take a shot on DeJounte Murray at 5.3. Yeah, like I said, he's very, very good play for GPPs. Very up and down. Hayward or Ingles? I got to go Ingles there. Hayward with everyone back, no one really stands out there, whereas Ingles has been pretty consistent, been getting over 30 minutes. So I got to go Ingles there. Faded Jokic, okay. I mean, that's okay. Went with Lillard, Russell, Lonnie Walker, Hazonia, Gobert, Trent Jr., Ayton, and Whiteside. I like that a lot. Yeah, I mean, that's very, very similar to mine. Besides, I have Jokic in there instead of Gobert. Should I play Ingles? I mean, I think he's a pretty safe option at 5.3, right? I think his floor game is probably like 20. So if he gets 20, he's not going to kill you, but he has upside for 30 plus, 40 plus on a good night. So I think he stands out as a pretty safe option, in my opinion. I don't think Joe Ingles is going to kill you. But yeah, we're locked. So I can go over some ownership here in these late games. Well, I guess it's only that Lakers Boston game, but I guess I can go over see what some ownership is. So Rondo coming in at 4%. I mean, I kind of like 4% Rondo. Let's see, what else do we have? Jaylen Brown at 22%, Hayward at 26%. Yeah, there's just, I don't know. There wasn't a whole lot I was excited about in this early game for sure. With AD coming back, that takes a hit to LeBron. AD being limited himself. Boston, everyone back. Both teams pretty solid defensively. Like Dwight Howard, 3%. There's just no way I'm paying that much for Dwight Howard with Anthony Davis available. Yeah, I mean, it's looking like just in this $40 tournament that everyone kind of had the same idea as me and just faded this first game. I don't see a lot. Like Tatum was 20%. Like Hayward was 20%. Dwight Howard 3%. Again, Rondo was like 3%. LeBron James 13%. Again, like 10.8K for LeBron against Boston with AD back. I don't know. I just like the upside a lot. With these four, I just love. I can't get away from these four with Whiteside, Jokic, D'Angelo Russell, and Damian Lillard. Cantor came in at 3%. Again, him and Rondo are probably my favorite plays in that game just because of their price tags. Kemba Walker 6%. There's no one really high owned in this. But again, kind of what I expected. Did Shitty earlier hoping for a bounce back. I'm super tilted about the Jonas. Did Jonas Valanciunas only end up playing 15 minutes? I am very, very tilted about that if that's the case. Let's see. McDermott or Hezonja? I'll go Hezonja there. Did Adams get hurt 1 minute in the game? Yep, he did. He got hurt right away. Yeah, Nikola Melli shooting lights out too. Well, JV only gets 21 minutes. Like, come on. Like, JV had a good game, man. He 14, 11, 1, and 2 steals in 21 minutes. If he gets 30 minutes, JV probably gets 50 fantasy points there. So that's why I'm tilted. Man. Let's see. Who else? CP3 was huge for me. Ben Simmons, obviously. What did CP3 finish with? 28, 7, and 3. So he didn't score the ball a whole lot after that, but still a really good game for him. I think Derrick Jones Jr. got injured too, and this game's going to go to OT. Yeah, he did. That's super tilting as well. How many minutes do you think Jokic will get? I think for sure, 30 to 35 in a close game, maybe a little bit more. Took a shot on Cantor in one line. I think it's worth it. LMA, yeah, I like LMA. Jackson Hayes, SMH, yeah, that's another one where, I mean, he was in the, what was it? The guy from DFI, Justin McMahon or whatever, he tweeted Jackson Hayes was 75% in the $33,000 or $3,300 tournament. So obviously everyone, all the the pros are on Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes was a good play. That's a situation where I don't mean to sound like salty. Hopefully this doesn't come off as me being salty. But Jackson Hayes was the clear cut, like one of the best plays of the day at that price, with no favors, with no Okafor. He just didn't do a whole lot. Nikola Melli got hot. Like, I know, again, I don't mean to sound salty here, but Jackson Hayes was clearly a good play tonight. It just didn't end up working out. That's where, again, process over results there. Like, Hayes was a really good play. It just didn't end up working out for us. Morris fizzed out in the second half. I think he hurt his foot. I think he still played, but what did he finish with? He still finished okay. He was like, what, 5.6, I think? What did he finish with stat-wise? 19 points. I get the game did blow out, so that definitely hurt. The Knicks blew him out. So Randall only played 27. Marcus Morris only played 30. So that's actually a big factor into why he didn't do a whole lot there in the second half. But yeah, 19, 3 and 1. He was fine for his price. Went to Hayes for value. Paid up for Morant over CP3. Just missed cash. That sucks, man. Yeah, I rolled with CP3, but I understood John Morant. It was a really, really up-tempo game there. Bellinelli or Little. I think I'll go Bellinelli there. That's close. That's pretty close. But yeah, again, as far as the Hayes situation go, I don't mean to sound salty, but that was a play where you play it and you move on. Like, it didn't end up working out, but at his price, with all those guys out in the front court, he was a really, really good play. Let's see. Really like Ayton. Seems like they're letting him loose when starting. Yeah, I mean, I like Ayton too, for sure. Kelly Oubre back is a little bit of a hit to him. Do you like Sabonis tonight? I'm not playing him. I think he's a safer option, but I don't see the reason to play him there against the Jazz when we have Lillard with no CJ, when we have Whiteside super short-handed, we have Jokic with all his guys out for Denver, we have D'Angelo Russell's been playing huge minutes, a good matchup. Like, I am pretty set in these four guys, so that's the reason I'm not getting to any Sabonis. Spurs interest, yeah. I mean, DeMar DeRozan and Aldridge for sure. I like both those guys a good amount. Like, you can fit Aldridge in here. 3.4K remaining. You have to take some shots on some cheap guys. I don't think you can fit DeRozan. Yeah, you can't fit DeRozan. Or you could take one of these guys out, right? Like, you could take Jokic out if you want, and then try to get some of those Spurs guys in there. But let's see. Simons, Glenn Robinson, or Cauley-Stein or Zonia. Well, Glenn Robinson's status is up in the air right now, so I got to go Willie Cauley-Stein or Zonia. Little may get more minutes. He was in foul trouble. Was he in foul trouble? That is a good point. I didn't watch any of that game, so I didn't see. But what was that, Saturday, right? Portland. Yeah, he was in foul trouble. That's a good point. Yeah, if he starts again, which I assume he is, I take that back. I think I probably would go Little over Bellinelli. I think he gets more minutes. That's a good point. Little was in foul trouble there. Lonnie Walker or Nasir Little. Again, I think Little probably gets more minutes if he stays out of foul trouble, so I guess he's the safer option of those two. Morris, Russell, James, Hazonia, Gobert, Jaylen Brown, Napier, and Simons. I mean, I'm not super excited about LeBron or Jaylen Brown. Napier too. I'm just like, okay. All right, I think I'm gonna hop out of here, guys. So I hope you guys all have a good night. Hopefully, win some money, and I'll be back. I think we only have a showdown slate tomorrow, so probably not gonna have a video up for that. Maybe I will. I'll make a quick one. I don't know, but I will have a slate or a video for sure for Wednesday's slate. I think that's a pretty big one. So. Yeah, thanks again for everyone to come in to check out the live stream. I really appreciate it. Lillard, Trent, Ayton, DeMar DeRozan, Aldridge, Simons, Hazonia, Whiteside. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, thanks again, guys. And I will see you guys Wednesday.